Okay, scrolling through my YouTube, I came across this. I agree with like 95% of the things Candace Owens says. And I'm curious about what's going on with the Lizzo lawsuit now. Like I said before, there are some things I think she was guilty of doing. I wasn't there. But Lizzo has this attitude, and I'm not saying it's a bad attitude. She's out there. She's in your face. She doesn't care. So sometimes that can come off as something it's not. I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm just saying, like in the other video, I think there's a lot more to it than just her mouth, her dragging them to strip clubs to drink and have a good time. And no, I think there's more to it than that. I really believe, like, there was one woman in the last video I did on this. She said something about, I can sing too, and I want to be like Lizzo. I think that's a lot of the problem. Nowadays, people want to be something that they're not getting, so they want to knock somebody down who's actually doing it. And again, I'm no fan of Lizzo, not her looks. With or without makeup, she is very pretty, my opinion. Very pretty, fat or not. It's just her piggy ways. You know, the fat shaming allegations, it's possible. I've been fat shamed by fat people. You know, I remember in high school there was a girl. I'm only going to give her first name, Barbara. Barbara was twice my size. And yet she was saying I looked like a beached whale and all this other shit. You're twice my size. What are you doing? So, yeah, I think that could be possible. I think she's got this out there, in your face type of attitude. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What's the words I'm looking for? Outgoing. I think she's very outgoing. And to some people who are like more introverted, that's a little awkward. But I don't think that's it. I really believe some people are looking for come ups, or they're not getting enough fame as they thought they would, being attached to Lizzo for no matter how short a period of time. I I think, especially the dancers. I don't know about the Hispanic one, but one of the other two, I think she's doing it because she thought being on Lizzo's show, being on tour, she would be the next Lizzo. That didn't even work with Reba McEntire, one of her backup singers, Linda Davis. She had her own album out. As far as I know, only one. Other than that, she didn't go anywhere. So, it all depends. And I could be wrong, but I really think at least one of the people bringing the lawsuit, one of the girls, is mad because she didn't get enough fame. And I think it's the same with that director. I don't hear very many people talking about directors, but when I do, it's George Romero, Steven Spielberg. This woman's name, don't recognize. But again, I don't know a lot of directors. But yeah, I think they were attached to Lizzo and they thought it was going to bring them superstardom fast, and it didn't. I could be wrong, and again, I haven't seen this video. Let's get into it.
Wanted to provide you an update on Lizzo because it seems that the media is really turning on her. She's having what pretty much happens in the Me Too movement, where one person says something and then 20 other people step outside of amnesia and they're like, oh my God, me too. I was treated poorly by this person. And so now she's got people that she's worked with saying she wasn't that nice. That obviously has nothing to do with what she's being sued for. And
Yeah, I can believe she's not that nice. At times. I mean, I think everybody is nice at times, but I think for the most part, she's what you've seen. I think it was a basketball game, walking around, her entire ass sticking out, going to a fast food joint, wiping her ass on the counter. Yeah, I think she can be very disgusting and very rude. But I also don't think that's an all the time thing. And again, this has, like Candace Owens just said, it has nothing to do with the lawsuit. They're looking to get her in the public eye as well. I think they were clout chasing. And they didn't get clout, and they're pissed off.
And it really does seem to me to be a pylon. Again, I am not a fan of Lizzo. I think that her fat acceptance movement has been toxic, but I'm also not a big believer that the karma of her saying be fat and be naked is that she should be wrongly accused of sexual harassment by dancers that are just upset because they got fired. Now her dancers are making the round of the...
I mean, like I said in the last video, there was a documentary literally just a couple of years ago. Two boys were bringing, I think, $1 billion lawsuit against the Jackson family. And it was really started by one boy. Okay, at this point, they're men, but, you know. And he wasn't hired to do this new tour that was coming up at the time. And he had always been on Michael's tours before as a dancer, choreographer, whatever. Now the family was saying no, and then this stuff comes out. Now, I'm not saying that stuff with Michael Jackson didn't happen. There were a lot of things I'm like, really? And I blame the parents more than him. One mother in that documentary couldn't find Michael and her kid all day long. What the hell were you doing losing track of your goddamn kid for that long? Then it was like, oh, okay. But again, that guy wasn't hired for a tour. Then he came out with the stuff. Seems very coincidental or very odd that it would come up at that time. It could have come up while he was still alive. But no, he was employed. I don't know. I just think, especially one of the girls, and I don't remember her name, but she said she can sing as well, and she wanted to be like Lizzo. It's crazy.
Of the mainstream media. This one particular dancer sat down with CBS. Let's hear what Ariana Davis has to say.
Things that the other cast members could do, and get away with. Essentially, the dancers were not allowed to engage in any of that activity.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Some of the people were able to engage in certain activity and the dancers weren't. What were you, fucking jealous? Oh, they get to do it and we don't. The more they open up their mouths, the more I'm on Lizzo's side.
In terms of like the false allegations that they had brought forth to us when we were on tour about us drinking before shows and things like that. That was never the case. In fact, alcohol was never even allowed in our dressing room or on our rider, which is the food and drinks provided to us. Um, so it was like literally impossible for us to even do that, but yet we were the ones who were blamed for drinking on the job. And it was stated to us by, Lizzo, that she was like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if the band or anyone else is doing it. It's like, you guys can't do it.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm on Lizzo's side. Oh, it wasn't even on the food that was brought to us. You can't get your own booze. Are you going to play stupid? And she said, Lizzo said herself, it doesn't matter if I drink before going on stage. It doesn't matter if the band drinks before going on stage. You guys can't. They didn't like getting told what they could and could not do. And I agree. I don't think Lizzo should be drinking either. I don't think the band should be drinking. But if the band drinks and they get a little tipsy, what's the worst that can happen? They play the wrong note, they play the wrong song. You're drunk or even high. Maybe they were high. You're dancing around, jumping around on that stage. You could hurt yourself and other people. Now, yes, Lizzo could too, but that's one person. They were accusing what it sounds like more than one dancer. Oh my God. They didn't like getting told what to do. Where the fuck did this come from? When you're employed, you don't do what you're told to do. I understand there are limitations. I understand that. But being told you can't drink on the job is normal. You can't drink before a show. Okay. Why is this a problem to even be brought up? Wouldn't you want to be sober on that stage? To at least make sure you know what you're doing and what's going on? Oh my God.
So what she's just done is given us insight into what actually went down behind the scenes. And what actually went
Yeah,
down behind the scenes is that obviously these dancers were reprimanded for drinking on the job. Starts out by saying, I just think that the rules here were more stringent. No, actually, those are pretty much the rules everywhere, but you can't drink on the job, even if you're a dancer, even if the
there
person
you
that you're
go.
dancing for, and it sounds like Lizzo did, drank on the job. She wanted to be a cool boss. She wanted to drink with her employees. She wanted to take them to nightclubs in the sex district in Amsterdam, and now she's paying for all of that. And then when she wanted them to sober up and just to dance, they didn't want to do that. So she told them not to drink.
Exactly.
Management told them not to drink, and now they're suing her.
If they didn't want to go to those strip clubs with her and drink and party and have fun, they could have brought it out immediately on social media and ruined her. No, but they were on tour. They were getting paid. They were enjoying the treatment that they got. And then when they saw it was really getting them nowhere except where they were, boom. See, while I believe Lizzo did some of the shit she's accused of, I don't think it was malicious. At all. I don't think she was malicious in it at all. And these girls just want to get her.
By claiming that actually we face sexual harassment and we were called names and also white management as they've listed, which is absurd.
White management? Oh, of course. Because the two main girls bringing the suit are black. So you have to blame the bad white man. But you're also blaming Lizzo. What the fuck? Is she white? Oh, no. She's getting more of the money and the fame. And she has white management. So, of course, that makes her a coon, right? Or a female Uncle Tom, right? Fuck you.
Absurd in the suit because they're going to hit every buzzword. They're going to make it racial. They're going to make it about them being fat.
Yep.
And they're going to make it about whatever it takes so that they can get a check because they've learned that.
And one girl even said, well, they were obsessed with me being a virgin. Well, how the fuck did they find out you were a virgin? Did they look up your goddamn skirt? Please.
This is what we've learned in the age of social justice. We have learned that all you have to do, as we've talked about this entire show, is decide what kind of a victim you are. Are you a victim because you're black? Are you a victim because you're a woman? Are you a victim because you're Jewish? Great. Put it in a lawsuit, and then everyone will have to not examine the facts, not examine what was actually said, not examine what was actually done, but immediately have an emotional response. It's utterly foolish. Lizzo did, in fact, enter in a comment on her Instagram. She responded rather on her Instagram, and here's what she said. She wrote, "These last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually, I choose not to respond to false allegations, but these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have to make hard decisions, but it's never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. I am not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I am not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be these last few days. I'm very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. There is nothing I take more seriously than the respect that we deserve as women in the world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. I'm hurt, but I will not let the good work I've done in the world be overshadowed by this. I want to thank everyone who has reached out in support to lift me up during this difficult time. I am going to end this by just saying I believe, Lizzo, that version of events sounds correct. You live in a world now where young people that are coming up are hyper privileged. They believe that they deserve the world for a minimal amount of work. Why can't I drink on the job? This is supposed to be a fun job. You're Lizzo. Your brand is fun. And then when they get fired, they're bratty. They want to sue you. They want to see if they can get a check. And typically, management folds. And I think that in this circumstance, these girls are going to get some sort of a check. She legally fired them. She probably rightfully fired them. And yet still, because they have to kowtow to this bizarre liberal world that we're living in, or I should call it an anti-liberal world that we're living in, they're probably going to end up winning in the end. But I hope that people realize what's happening here, which is simply a financial shakedown from a bitter former employees. That's my take on it, at least. If you like this video, you're going to like the full.
I agree. I said in the first video I did on this, she wants to be Lizzo. No. Well, there you go. I don't like Lizzo, but I am definitely on her side.